Hello, everybody. Welcome to Beyond Sports, where we're going to be asked about sports. I think
We're
you
gonna
know
be
what we're going to talk
do
about.
it.
I think they know what we're going to talk about. I
No,
think we're going to be a little predictable here.
we'll be a little bit. We'll probably talk a little more about the Super Bowl, just a little bit, just a tiny bit.
Just a little bit, guys. Like,
And,
just bear with us
and
for like a little bit while we talk about
we just because
being
we go back to
back-to-back
back,
champions, being
we can
dynasty.
talk about it for a little bit.
I mean, we're a dynasty.
Once anytime you become a dynasty, you go back to backs.
You got to talk
You get
about
to
that.
talk. You get to talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about it, and then you get a little tired of talking. No, you don't get tired of
You
talking.
don't get to. We'll try. We'll have to stop ourselves from talking about it, which
Like,
never goes. I
yeah,
just keep talking about it.
yeah. I mean, that's all we
Does
have
not
to
go
talk
wrong.
about. So,
Okay, let's we can dig into like the key plays of the game,
yeah.
right?
I mean,
And what the Niners were trying to do, what they failed to do, maybe what the Chiefs did a little bit better. Um, you know, so if you notice, two key plays that I'd love to talk about. Third down plays, right? One coming at the end of regulation, our last drive of regulation, the Chiefs' last drive of regulation, and they're driving overtime, right? Two third down plays. A 3rd and 2, I think, was the one in regulation. 3rd and 4 in overtime. 3rd and 6. 3rd and 6 in overtime. Anyways, okay. So,
I'm pretty sure similar routes, different players.
well, when
Hold on,
the Niners decided to blitz, right? When the Niners decided to zero blitz us, and you're just like, why would you do that with Mahomes? Have you not seen what this dude does to blitzes in his career? And zero blitzing, okay, fine. So there's the one on 3rd and 2 where you see Mahomes just check out of it, right? Like Mahomes is showing like his next level, his Peyton Manning brain now, right? And Tom Brady, where he can go up to the line, he can audible out and into a different check. Um, anyways, sees the blitz coming, changes the play, then just throws a little one out to McKinnon, right? Right. It's like a little screen pass. It's just a little screen pass right out to McKinnon, right around the defender who McKinnon like acts like he's gonna block and then just
Slip
dips
side.
around the guy and then Mahomes is Mahomes is,
Different play than what I was thinking on that 3rd and 2 for some reason.
but it's just a sweet play, right?
That's a very good
Because
point.
the whole line is like they're coming at him.
Fucking
Mahomes sees it enough. They try kind of disguise a little, not really, but Mahomes sees it and he's like, okay, this is what we're doing. We're gonna switch this whole thing up, and it works beautifully. Um, the other one in overtime was the one to Rashee Rice
yeah, the
at like
Rasheed Rice
6
one.
yard
Nice. Yeah,
grab. That
super
was
grab.
great. But it was them
Yeah,
doing a zero blitz, and I don't.
it's tricky because like the one thing I'll say in Wilkes' defense is like you either sit back and you let Mahomes dissect you with his legs and his eyes, or you bring it and hope that one of the linemen hold is my thought. I don't think you're actually hoping to get home. I think you're hoping for a fucking off.
For a hold.
You're looking for a
So
hold on that one. That's my only thought. Because otherwise it's a terrible decision. Like
it is a bad decision, and it's one of the Steve Wilkes will talk about that firing, right?
yeah.
And this be part of it, of why it didn't make a whole lot of sense. And I think the main thing is it wasn't just the Super Bowl, because he was doing very well in that Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Like
that was actually one of his better games
he
and
didn't allow the Chiefs to go on like an actual real touchdown drive, like where they drove the length of the field and scored a touchdown until overtime. We scored that first touchdown
based on the
with the
special teams
On
Missing.
the punt, yeah, when our offense started at the 15-yard line. So
Yeah,
like not much of a drive.
not much at all. One play,
So
right? That
Wilkes
play,
was
one play to
do
MVS.
what?
That was one play to MVS on
That
that
was
drive.
one play, yeah. They did let us they did like that punt kind of instantly flipped things there. But so I saw another thing where I believe it was before that muff punt, right? They had blitzed like one time in the game, right? Because you've been getting home with your front four. That's what you have to do.
Hargrave was a monster in that game.
Um, but then after that muff punt, they blitzed like six times. So their blitz rate shot up for
Panic
some
button.
reason. Um, and Mahomes picked it apart because that's what he does.
That is what he does.
Now, on the other side of things, some key plays, two very huge key plays from the Chiefs defense were zero blitzes that got home, that, or at least disrupted
Yeah.
and did their thing.
Yeah. I mean, got their our guys were getting our hands up is the big thing too.
Yeah,
And
and the each of them, I believe, were actually um the last plays from their offense, the third down plays in regulation and in overtime, right? That forced them to kick field goals each time. Each of those plays, the one in regulation
McDuff.
that you've probably seen, the one that I mean, without that one, had they converted that third down, very likely they run that clock out,
The revenge.
kick the goal, and yeah, we know that. With McDuffie blitzing, right? First of all, like look at that. If you look at that play, like nothing about that play, like says that we're gonna blitz, right? Shows that pressure. Everything just looks like it's, probably man lined up, like just standard man coverage, two deep safeties. And then McDuffie just times it so
Yeah.
beautifully. Um, and they don't, they really doesn't have a chance. Like by the time Purdy realizes what's happening, it's too late.
Too late, and McDuffie gets
Um,
his hand up, gets his hand on the
Doug,
ball.
he did. Gets his left hand up first to get that passing lane
Yep.
blocked out, and yeah,
Fucking
um,
awesome.
it really is. Because I mean, he probably would have been able to hit Ayuk. Good chance. Safety was crashing
I
down,
mean,
but
yeah, I mean McDuffie was covering.
McDuffie was
He was lined up across from Ayuk, so he left him wide open for that play.
wide open. Yes, and that's what
Nobody
I
on the
mean.
line anyway.
That's the guy you have to go to when you're getting blitzed. Is the guy who's
Think about this for a second. Like I didn't even think about it. Like
so
Spagnola is like had a very
the the
fundamental hand
balls the
developing.
balls to call that dude.
He's had a big hand developing the three best corners in the league, right?
Yeah,
Because Charvarius Ward,
Javarius Warden.
who was an All Pro this season with McDuffie, and then Snead was just on the outside, probably should have been an All Pro
The the
had it not been
three
for,
the
in my
three
opinion,
best corners in this game.
three of the top five corners. I mean, obviously you don't want to disrespect, like a Sauce Gardner or Derek
Ramsey.
Singleton Jr., who's played really well for Houston.
Yeah. Okay.
What a great draft last year was for corners, man.
You know.
I mean, we named three of them right there, just thinking about great corners. So,
Um. Anyways,
sorry.
that blitz, right? Just and the balls for Spags to call that because that is a potential like you're you're leaving straight man to man, right? That's if you don't get there in time, if the blitz doesn't get there in time, that could be a touchdown, right? Easily.
I think that you hope for a touchdown. If your blitz doesn't get home on that one, you hope for a touchdown.
You hope for a touch, yeah, to give us a chance. You would. um, the next one, right? The last play in overtime, the one where Chris Jones is just running free, right? Like
Fucking
unblocked,
block Chris Jones. Like,
dude.
even if it's not your assignment, you would think everybody on that O line would look around and be like, all right, if he's going untouched, I'm going to at least step in front of this dude. I'm going to let this other
You
guy
know,
go untouched instead of him.
So I mean, again, it's a zero blitz call, man. It's just
Yeah.
send them all and trusting in our, D-backs that they'll at least be able to cover long enough for our guys to get home. And thank God because there was like two or three guys open for Purdy on that play.
Yeah.
Had he not had Chris Jones just bearing down on him. So, I don't know. I think these are it also shows to experience where, Mahomes can see that zero blitz coming and audible out of it, right? Go up to the line, do all the
He has that
adjustments he
freedom,
needs
and
to.
Andy Reid's passed on that knowledge.
Adjust, yes, adjust the line how it needs
So
to shift to block where the blitz is coming from. Call into the right check where Purdy doesn't have that right now. Like
he might get there one day. I
he
mean, I'm not
yes,
gonna say
yeah,
he won't. He's
he
like a
very well
smart
could.
kid. Like he's gonna be able to grasp information given to him.
Right. This is nothing against a guy who's played a season and a half and you know, done
No, in
very
no way am
well.
I. I'm actually came away way more impressed with Brock Purdy than I went into it being.
He played a good
Um,
game. He played a good
I
game.
think that the
Not a
NFC
great
Championship,
game.
I'll say by the NFC Championship was probably the most I've been impressed by him because of the
Yeah.
ability to use his legs. The way he did in that game was awesome.
Yeah, and the comeback was just
And that's what I thought
phenomenal.
was lacking in this
Like
game.
that clutch thing.
He didn't trust in himself enough, I feel, to get out of some of the, but I don't think he had this.
He doesn't have that control
We
with
didn't have
the
that many
offense.
opportunities. We didn't give him an opportunity to run like the Lions did.
No, no, we did very good on containing.
The
We did
Hexes.
very good on containing the run. Like if you take away the first drive, like we shut down Chris McCaffrey pretty well.
Yeah, I think the first drive and then once you got to overtime, he started gashing us pretty badly there.
A little bit, yeah.
Whenever he would
Yeah,
touch
but
the
I
ball, I
think
would get real worried. Those,
I think overtime the plan was no more than a field goal.
oh, bend
Like
don't break for sure.
we were
For sure.
bend don't break all the way. Got a little too close to breaking, but we were bend don't break 1,000% on
Yeah.
that drive in overtime. We were like, just give the ball to Mahomes with a chance to have a walk-off touchdown.
Yep.
And so
Which apparently that's
just
what's
a good, you know, Wilkes calling the zero blitz and being aggressive, not working out for him because you're going up against Patrick Mahomes. Whereas Spags, who has a different man, who has a great defense, right?
yeah.
Guys that are very smart, know what they're doing. Um, but Spags having, uh, being able to call that against a still a younger QB who is going to be very affected by pressure. Hello, Meows. I don't know. It looked like over the course of the season, they were I guess not happy with the defense was top 10 in like everything. I don't know what it wasn't that bad.
It's
And
not
it's the
like they went
guys
from Jonathan Gannon to Sean Desai.
yeah,
So, like, you know what
and
I'm
it's
saying?
the
Like,
dudes right and it's the guys first year. Like
I would have gladly
that's
taken a Steve Wilkes type of drop off.
you can still well you can't really because
I mean, I,
you already
I'll
have
take,
your guy. You've got your
yeah,
guy.
I'll take Vic. I would rather. Is any OCs gonna get fired for that? I'll take them instead of the one we got.
Eric Bieniemy.
I would love that. That's what I wanted, Billy. But
Why not Eagles?
uh,
Leave that much in Kellen Moore. Okay. All right.
yep.
Why not bring in a guy who knows a thing or two about running the ball and helping develop a young, talented quarterback? I don't know.
Don't know, man. Don't seem good.
But there were reports that he was in Kansas City helping us out in some
Yeah,
capacity.
yeah. Hopefully, I'll take Eric Bieniemy back.
Yeah. If you'd like Eric, if you want to come back, maybe give Andy a call, talk to Nagy, sit him down, explain that, like this year's offense was serviceable. For
Yeah.
when we have a top three defense, right? This will do. Otherwise, we may need something a little better.
I mean,
Um,
I could see like Eric Bieniemy, the offensive assistant, something like along those lines. Consultant, like an offensive consultant.
let's yeah, sure. But
I don't see Andy demoting somebody
Andy's not
who
gonna do that. I know Andy's too nice. Andy doesn't do that to his guys. Eric, you left, man. You did. I understand why.
Yeah, but I can see Eric coming back. I mean, shit. Running back's
Can he
good.
just come back as like, an assistant head coach or something, right?
Yeah,
And then just like slowly start sneaking,
have him as
like
a running backs
getting.
coach and then put Todd Pinkston, as like a wide receivers coach
I
since he's
don't
like
want to do
a
that
wide
to
receiver in the
just
NFL.
get him as like an assistant coach and have him slowly start taking away
All right,
Nagy's
go.
roles, right? Just take away different responsibilities from Nagy little by little until the next thing you know, he's
Hey,
like out
it
there
didn't work
wearing
in
the
Philadelphia.
headset.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. It did not work when we tried it in Philly.
No,
Did that
we
to our
did that.
defense. We did that to our defensive coordinator, and it did not work. And let's face it, Matt Patricia
I
was
know.
an unlikable
I
guy, and the
Okay, but
reports
there's the difference. There's the difference.
people
You
didn't
kick it
like
to Matt
the offensive
Patricia.
the offensive players didn't like fucking Eric Bieniemy in Washington.
This ain't Washington. This ain't we do a little different than
They ain't
Washington here,
soft like they
man.
are in
A
Washington.
little different.
Charmin. We aren't
A little,
Charmin.
little different.
Yeah, we like to work hard because we see the results. They don't want to work hard because they're like, why would we do that?
All right. Well, still think maybe,
Yeah,
come back, take a few of the responsibilities from that. Just a few,
I'm
right?
I'm 100% there.
Okay. All right. Um, okay. Anyways,
Still on Chiefs news.
yeah.
Congrats to Steve Spagnuolo and Dave Tao on their new contracts.
Yes. Holy
Tao
shit.
is for 3 years. We know that.
Sign Dave. Oh yeah.
We
Each of them are for 3 years.
I don't know about Spags. I know Dave's is. Dave's got three. I
Okay.
didn't see any details leaked on. I didn't see any details on Spags. If anybody
I
video
I
saw,
mean,
correct.
dude, Spags. Like, I can't believe we ever complained about this guy. Man.
I I know, and I'm
We
ashamed to say that I'm probably going to do it again at some point.
no,
I
I
know.
can't can't do it now.
I bitched
And
about Brett Veach this year. I complained about
he
it.
literally, dude, he got it like better or worse, man. This year we was carried by that defense.
I will find
Like,
a reason to complain. I will complain at some point next season
no,
about something, and I
no,
don't
no.
want it to be true. I don't
We
want to be that guy. It's like
we
you
was
don't want to be stressed out all the time, but you're gonna be.
carried. We beat the Ravens and by scoring 17 points.
That was
Like
fucking incredible.
it was the defense and Mahomes being clutch. Like Mahomes making plays when he had to
That
make
throw.
plays.
That fucking
Like,
throw.
like so that's what won us this entire thing, right? Like that's kind of
Wow.
the surmise of the whole postseason and maybe the entire season. Like the defense is carrying us, and then Mahomes does, you know, he comes in clutch and makes some big plays.
And that's what
And
you see, like the difference in winning a Super Bowl and losing a Super Bowl is we won the Super Bowl and our coaching staff's getting shiny new contracts because they have Patrick Mahomes.
I know, and they're
The 49ers
losing,
are firing their fuckers.
hiring.
And I mean, like we mentioned,
I
that was
hate.
normally you see like Super Bowl coordinators leave because they got another job.
Right. So because they
But
got
that
like
was
a
just
head coach,
weird. Like,
kind of like what it happened last year to the Eagles, right? You
yeah,
guys lost the Super Bowl and then you lost both of your coordinators, but it's because they got hired as head coaches elsewhere.
coaches, and they were both pretty decent head coaches. I think that they both outperformed what
Yeah,
we
dude.
expectations.
Robert Sala got I guess it
What?
the wasn't right after the Super Bowl because he's only been the Jets head coach for like what 2 years, 2 3 years.
Because he's been there the whole time Zach Wilson has, at least.
Hasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I think he
anyways,
was there before. Was
3 years.
was he hired in 2020 though?
You'd have to look it up.
I'm gonna
Anyways.
know. Oh,
Hmm.
there's Sneaky.
Hmm. Sneaky's here.
Look at this. We got a Sneaky. I hit
When
admit.
this happened.
It just happened. I looked at my phone and it said, shit, I'm here. And it was from this guy.
If he ever joins, if he ever
Yeah.
actually joins, is he going to click the thing?
He clicked it. He
There he
clicked
is.
the thing.
What?
Oh,
What?
look at that.
Where is this?
Oh, look at this. Somebody was playing video
This guy,
games.
this guy. In your old setup, where's the nice wall with the pictures and such?
Yeah, last minute. It takes a minute to get that shit set up.
Ah, all right. Well, we were just talking about the Super Bowl,
Yeah, yeah.
um, because
We're
that's
talking
what we
about we're talking
we
about how
talked
it's
about.
great.
Oh, we were talking about the coaches' new
Yeah,
contracts.
how it's
So,
crazy that if you win a Super Bowl, you get to stay in that town longer, and if you lose the Super Bowl, apparently you get fucking fired.
You talking about Wilkes?
booted.
Yeah. We were just
Yeah.
saying,
On the one hand, I think he's kind of scapegoated. On the other, like
A little bit of a scapegoat.
I don't. I think he was just kind of a placeholder in the first place. He didn't get to call. Like he didn't call the defense.
really?
He wasn't calling the defense. Who was calling the defense?
Or no, so, like he's like he did. He
He
didn't
was,
get.
he was,
He doesn't. He didn't design the defense. It's not his defense at all.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's
I have heard that.
he's running Kyle's plays.
Which are
Miles
sure,
defense.
Why you're running an offensive coach's head plays, I don't know.
I'm sure they're Robert Solace.
But yeah,
Probably.
and then like they made him go down to the sidelines to call games instead of be up in the booth where he's been his whole life.
Hold on, right? Yeah, I know that. He didn't. He
But I
didn't
mean,
love
like
doing that. Well, who was their
when you
offensive coordinator last year? He left to what?
Their defensive coordinator?
Their defensive coordinator last year. Sorry.
Demeco,
Who? What now?
that Demeco,
D'Amico Ryans.
D'Amico. D'Amico
yeah,
Ryans. Yeah. D'Amico Ryans. Yes, it was. It was D'Amico Ryans. There we go. Duh. He left for Houston,
yeah,
obviously.
that's a big difference.
So is he running D'Amico Ryan's defense then,
I
as
don't,
opposed to Robert Salas?
I don't
Probably.
know. I just like I just know for like it wasn't even speculation. It was just stated as fact. Like it's not his defense.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, when like it sounds harsh, but when you go back and look at the playoff run, you kind of understand.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you
His
look at the
best
regular
game.
season outside of the Eagles game, outside
Yeah,
the Eagles and the Cowboys game, they weren't that convincing on the defensive
I
side.
think it was probably pretty similar to what happened with Philly in that they were still running they were still running the previous year's schemes.
but
But
didn't have the previous year's guy.
well, I mean, and like I'm not saying this as a dig at anybody or anything, but like San Francisco had the talent to make it last longer and look better.
True.
Like I just think I think Philly was too disorganized. I think Kyle Shanahan is a million times better coach.
I don't know.
I
I think the Eagles were
They
more
can both
complete in the
lose to
Super Bowl.
Mahomes in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think the Eagles looked better losing in the Super Bowl than Shanahan.
I mean, the Niners took us to
I
overtime.
mean,
I mean, but he keeps blowing the same. He keeps making the same mistake. He's done it
Kinda.
three times.
no,
Three.
and that's why it looks bad is because he's extremely culpable for this too.
Yeah, Shanahan. Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. That's three times in a Super Bowl that he's had a 10-point lead and lost.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's tough to. How much credit do you give to him in Atlanta? Like Dan
Almost
Quinn
all of
was
it.
the head coach.
I give a lot of it to him
If they could have put up any points
because Dan Quinn was a
Dude,
defensive-minded
defense
head
didn't
coach.
have to
in
also
the second
fall
half.
apart and give up 25 points in the
That
last
is
like
true.
quarter and a half.
That is true.
Like
But I mean, like the offensive plays in that
the
Super Bowl
offensive,
were hideous.
the
And there was
offensive,
like that Edelman catch. Jesus
the
Christ.
offense had put up 28 points at that time, and it's like that wins you most games.
Yeah, but you got to get something in the second half. You got to keep going.
Yeah, I mean they just fell off a cliff.
They did. I mean, they did. They stopped running the ball,
And I mean,
kind of like they did against
the
us.
other part of it too is with proper clock management, the Patriots would have never had a fucking chance to catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
So
miss
we're gonna know a lot of things about how our team is gonna look next year real soon.
Yeah.
That's great. When you win a Super Bowl, you don't really have to wait for the off season because it's like right around the corner.
Yeah.
Barely have enough time to just celebrate winning the Super Bowl.
I mean, guys, I've meditated on it and agonized over it, and I've come to the conclusion that the answer is Chris Jones.
Yeah.
That's who you pay.
It's tough.
I
Because Chris
do.
Jones had so many plays in that game that were vital and
You
needed.
don't win these
And
two Super Bowls without Chris Jones.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Chris Jones is one, but I think L'Jarius Sneed also comes back. I think he's a franchise. He's getting the franchise tag.
I don't know
I
if we can
think you can.
afford these things, man.
I
I
think you can
think
tag
I
Snead
I think that they'll be able to get.
or the deal with
I think if you can
Chris.
get Jones on the 3-year deal that he's wanting, he'll take less this year, so you can because you can't tag Jones at $33 million. You cannot do that.
No, no, it
But you
wouldn't make
can
sense. It would make more sense just to give him the contract.
absolutely. So I think you give him the contract, get him 3 years to where that the last
How
I mean, but if you give them mainly incentives, you can probably find a way to fit because right now we're coming in at like 22 million. And that's without renouncing MVS's 12.
okay. I mean,
So
we'd have to if we oh
thankfully,
man.
yes. I mean, I would like if you want to come back for the three-peat and do that. I mean, you can come back on the veteran minimum.
Do you, do you think Chris would come back for any less than 20 a year?
No,
I think if you can get
the franchise tag on Snead is going to be 18.
the Snead tag would be 18, so maybe yeah.
Can Chris just be like I'll come back for 20 a year?
It'd be a fucking miracle if we got him for 28.
His tag is what, like 30 something?
30.
If we tag. Yeah.
So I'm like, if you can get Chris Jones at 23 on the contract,
Stop.
but you,
Stop it.
I'm just
Like,
saying base.
you're talking yourself into some wild shit. Like, you need to, like, anything that's under 28 million, you need to get that out of your head.
I'm not, but listen, I'm not saying he's not getting that. You give him, go fucking full Howie Roseman. At this point, Brett Beach knows how to do this shit. He can sit there and say, okay, you're,
The big problem is our cap wizard, we lost him. He's a GM now. I can't remember who we lost him to. But
Well,
that guy who does all the cap wizardry, yeah, he's gone now.
well, you got to find a, it's not that, I mean, you see it all across the fucking league. People are doing that shit. There's ways to do it. Brett can figure it out. He
Yeah,
learned that. It has. If he didn't learn the ability to do that from that guy, then
each we trust.
Say unless one of them takes like a 1 year super team friendly, I want to go get the three-peat deal. Like you're gonna
Why
have to
not, Chris? Chris has already gotten a bag. Just come back for another year.
yeah, I think he's the one that has to do it because he's the one with the biggest the biggest price to gain. I mean, obviously, I agree with what you're saying, Sneaky. It's highly unlikely to get him under 28, but
Because Snead can't take a discount. It's his first contract. Snead has to get what he can get.
yeah, but
And he can get a lot right now. So we're gonna have to pay Snead. And I know if you had to choose one or the over the other, you may have to go Chris Jones just because we do have Trent McDuffie, right?
and develop the shit out of corners.
Yeah. So
I mean,
we've
that's like we
got
mentioned earlier before you got on.
You got Jalen Watson and Najee Johnson waiting in the wings.
It's like I said, Sam and I were talking before you guys got on. Steve Spagnuolo has, if you look at this year's cornerbacks, pretty much your top 3 corners were developed by Steve Spagnuolo. Tarvarius Ward, Trent McDuffie, and L'Jarius Sneed.
Yeah. The problem is you can't develop a Chris Jones. Like that is
it's
raw.
hard to find.
That's raw God-given talent.
You can't just
Yeah.
or you can't replace them. And we have, a Trent McDuffie who is already playing at the level that Snead is.
And you got a bunch of long dudes. I think that Williams can. God, I just don't want to lose Sneed, man.
I know. I want to
think
really find a way to keep both of them, but we also have to think about all the other guys who we're going to have to pay here shortly. Bolton, Creed, Trey Smith. Like our young guys, we developed a lot of good young guys these past few years, and they're all going to want a little bit of money.
Yeah.
And it'd be super sick. Like the best possible combo for me is getting Chris Jones and Drew Tranquil back. If we have to lose Snead.
I think Tranquil's coming back too.
Oh, I think Tranquil's gone.
Now he really likes it here, man.
He did really he came here to get a ring, and he got a ring.
He got his ring. He got what he wanted.
He got that ring.
I mean, I think that he's going to have a good market out there, and you're talking about a guy who the last year before coming here had 100, like was 143 tackles, solo
Yeah.
tackles, and then he came here to play a backseat role. I don't, especially with how Leo performed in the playoffs, especially the Super Bowl, he's going to get a bigger role.
Yeah, I feel like the money is there for Tranquil. Like we're gonna cut MVS.
Yeah.
That's gonna give us like 9 or 10 million.
I think it's a 10 to 11 potentially. I'm not 100% sure. I've heard a lot of ranging numbers on how much you save from cutting MVS. I mean, you'll save money from getting rid of Tony.
Yeah, I mean I don't think Tony was
It's not a huge amount of money, but any money
he's
you're
still
not
on a
paying.
rookie contract, wasn't he?
What's that?
Wasn't he still on a rookie contract?
Yeah, he is. So it's not a huge amount of money you're saving, but you're saving money.
Yeah.
That's another million in the bank.
But you guys,
Yeah.
this,
So,
yeah. If y'all want to, throw in any of your 2 cents about the game, like,
I mean, I don't know whatever you guys talked about.
I mean, when it came to the actual game, I just talked about some of the key moments. I talked about the zero blitz stuff, with each team. When they were doing it against us on third downs at the end of the game, and Mahomes just, picking it apart, and then we would use it against them very effectively.
Yeah.
Um,
Two
especially on the third down
way-
play at the end of regulation and the third down play at the end of their last one in overtime and the last one in regulation.
Way different quarterbacks.
Yeah, well, that was a part of it too. With one of
the
them,
thing is, I keep going back to Kyle Shanahan's third quarter play calling.
yeah.
The biggest takeaway of the whole thing, and I think that's really where they lost the game. You go
So
and
it was.
you only run two run plays, and that whole quarter to Christian McCaffrey.
I know, man.
I think that was
They had 3 straight 3-and-outs and had one run play during that.
Yeah.
It's bad, but look, okay. So when it comes to Christian McCaffrey, after that first drive, we really stopped. Like, you gotta understand, Christian McCaffrey had what, 80 yards, right? 22 carries for 80 yards, which is only 3.6 average, right? So
yeah.
decent.
Kind of stuffing him up there.
Um, in the first drive of those 80 yards, he had 22 of those yards
Okay,
on
but
3
also,
carries.
how
So the
many-
rest of the time,
while you're on the stats, how many
it
carries
was
did
19
Isaiah
for like
have, and how many yards did he have?
do
Who?
it.
Isaiah.
Oh, I not anymore.
So here's
Right?
the thing I was thinking. The reason it's not about the yards you gain, it's about wearing down the line. We
It
wore
is.
down their D
You're
line
right.
by running the ball consistently, and we never let up. We didn't sit there there wasn't a point in this game where the balance changed really.
They ran it more than we did.
But there's a huge gap in that third quarter where they didn't at
They
all.
didn't run. They
And at
didn't
that
run the
point in
ball.
time, our D line stays fresh,
And
while
you'd
their
think
D line kept getting beat up on.
you would think Shanahan would learn to like run the ball with a lead
Yeah,
in the second half of a
Coming out of-
Super Bowl.
they gave because also right before that we had halftime. They gave
Yeah.
our defense an extra 15 minutes of not having to get beat up on
Mhm.
by the run game.
And like in
Oh,
the
we kept
in the
attacking.
second quarter,
But
like Mike Pennell was wrecking the run game.
Pennell was
Exactly,
wrecking
but
the
it's a
Chanel was in there as well. Like we
that's why Andy
started
Reid's
stuff in
better
the
at
run game
chess than
pretty
he-
well.
Like I watched a replay of Mike Pennell one-handing Trent Williams
Yeah.
and then reaching out and tackling McCaffrey.
Tackling McCaffrey, dude, when he
Jesus
just
fucking Christ.
Chanel was amazing. Like I'm not saying our D line wasn't
He
playing
was
great, but
blowing that shit up consistently.
I
he
think
had
you got to
2
try to.
tackles for losses in that game for Mike Pennell, man. For guy who's
I
on the
think that
practice
Kyle
squad earlier
Shanahan
this
was
year.
trying to prove that Brock Purdy was more of the reason why they got there than he was. It felt very
Brock,
last play of the game. Let's go to Russ instead of Marshawn Lynch.
Doesn't it feel like this is just about finishing product with Brock Purdy though?
It does feel close. I mean, like I told him, I felt
kind of close to his ceiling.
I did feel more impressed coming out of this game with Brock Purdy than I did going into it. Is what I told Sam. I think the last
he's
2 playoff games, the NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl, I think did a lot for my opinion of him.
yeah, He's a very talented guy. He can make a lot of plays. He's not.
I, s- I still look at him as a product of the situation he's in. I think you throw him on 50% of the other NFL teams, he's not as good as he is on the Niners.
I 100% agree, but I also said, I think that if you took, and I don't mean this as a whole, I don't take this after year 5 or so, but the early part of that early part of Tom Brady's career, I think that if he got drafted by, say, the Minnesota Vikings, I don't think that we are talking about, we don't know who the fuck he is.
Yeah.
Right.
I
mean,
Hey,
I just he
speaking of,
just reminds me of Garoppolo. Sorry.
that's where I was gonna go. Is like it all feels
he's
feels very
better.
He's a little better. He doesn't make.
I think he is better than
Just doesn't make the
Garoppolo.
mistakes. Like
He's better than Garoppolo.
I think
maybe
I
Derek
think the
Carr.
ability is about the same. He just doesn't make the mistakes.
Yeah, and he can make some better. He can make some throws and make some plays. Garoppolo didn't have legs,
I
and
saw the same
that,
overthrows in this Super Bowl that I saw in the first one.
yeah, it was some of those.
and I
But
saw the
Garoppolo
same.
wouldn't have made that play like that pass to Ayuk on the sidelines there, running.
Oh, yeah, where he
out
like started
pocket.
running and then stopped.
And then like
To me,
Garoppolo wasn't doing that.
that's the
Like,
that's the only play of that game that made me raise my eyebrows.
yeah, I thought he had another one that was pretty good. But and he made some reads that were a little questionable too, right? Passed on some open guys that were deep downfield a couple times.
The key play where Trent McDuffie batted the ball down, he made the wrong fucking read.
Well,
I mean,
blown
maybe
the fuck
Ayuk was
Right,
open.
it was wide open.
Ayuk was on the ground, dog. Snead put him on the ground.
Which play are you talking about? Are you
Are you
talking about?
talking about high
On
point?
third down where he batted the ball down. Because there
Yeah,
were
where he
The
batted the
one in
ball
the
down.
end zone?
Ayuk was in the slot.
Are you
And
talking at the very end of the game, Sneaky?
no, he's talking about he's talking about the Trent McDuffie blitz
Yeah,
where
that's what I mean. The end of the third. Yeah,
end of the regulation.
okay. I was talking
Um,
about a different play, Sneaky. I'm sorry. I don't take what I'm
him
yeah,
saying.
and D.
no. Snead was on Jennings on that
Yeah,
run.
I was
But the
talking
ball
the
was
breakup down in the end zone from McDuffie.
oh yeah, no,
I was like,
no.
that play, Ayuk was on the ground.
Well, and okay, a little bit of
But yeah.
questioning with their play calling, and I don't know if it's their play calling or if it's Brock going to the wrong read sometimes, a little bit of both. But he would be going to Debo versus man when Debo is much better in zone, and kind of the opposite with going to Ayuk during zone when that should Ayuk's your man beater, and you would see Ayuk be open sometimes on those man coverages and him trying to go to Debo, who
So I think
blanketed.
some of it also is I think the interior of their offensive line is terrible. Like it is awful. Uh really their O line outside of Trent Williams is not good. So I think that his internal clock is a lot more fucked up than Patrick Mahomes.
Well, and when we started blitzing him more later in the
Yeah.
game, more effectively, and on third down, our blitzes on third down very effective.
A lot of the reason, like the interior of the Chiefs O line, like it's only a matter of time before I think we start seeing other teams try to really just kind of rip off what the Chiefs did and be like, you know what, like maybe we don't need the best tackles on the outside. We just need the best if we can get the best interior.
Interior line. If we can just build the best interior line in football, we should be okay.
In one season.
What's that?
In one season, we just draft two fucking
One season.
Dude, and neither of them are in the first round. They both get passed on by everybody multiple
we
times.
just pick up a couple blue chippers in the late rounds and it'll be fine, right?
Right. Trey was like a 6th round pick, right?
Yeah. Heart condition dropped him. That only
Okay.
our medical staff's like, hey,
Man.
We clear anybody.
Yeah.
We cleared Josh Gordon.
Uh,
We're the only team that would clear fucking Justin Ross.
true.
See what happens there.
You want to go out and die for it? How about it?
Willing to let you die for us.
All right.
Have you guys watched any of the Dynasty documentary?
No, send me it. What is it?
Dynasty document.
Do you have Apple Plus, Apple TV?
Ooh, I do. I haven't
That's
watched
the
it in
one
a
I
hot
don't
minute.
have. You don't try
It's
to.
It's
Pete, get it and watch
it's a complete
Ted
behind
Lasso.
the scenes thing on the Patriots.
It's a what?
It's a complete like behind the
Behind the
scenes,
scenes thing on the
not
Patriots?
not a puff piece.
What? Oh,
Like they get
okay.
like people have been talking about this for about a week. Like apparently they get people talking some mad shit in this documentary.
Okay. I have to check it out.
It starts
But I
from the
mean,
it starts from the beginning with
I'm
with Brady getting drafted and replacing Bledsoe and all that. And it's all like it's all done with like they've got interviews. They've already had like Pioli on there uh
Yeah,
and Brady and others.
haven't thought of that name in a hot minute.
But
need to.
but it's all like interviews with those people and fucking like they've already had Belichick in it, like actually sitting down to talk.
Okay, I'll definitely have to check that out.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like there's only 2 episodes up so far, but it's fucking awesome.
You
Okay.
have Apple
I mean,
TV?
No, I watched it through pirate site.
yeah, probably that shit. I'm a little too busy, like worrying about this dynasty than like, wanting to focus on some other dynasty.
I
Yeah,
I
I can
find,
probably
I
give you
find it
my login
fascinating
if I can
because
figure it out.
It is fascinating. No, I'm gonna watch it.
And you can watch Ted Lasso.
I
It's
still
so
have
good.
1,000 more videos on this that I want to watch.
I can send you the link for my pirate site. It works almost the same as the sports one.
Oh yeah, throw that shit up in there. Hired everything these days.
Yeah.
Gonna make us pay stupid amount of money for 1,000 streaming services.
They're all
Yeah.
teaming up now too to
Pri-
apparently remake cable TV.
Yeah. Yeah.
that I'm already paying for.
Peacock and Paramount Plus are talking about merging. ESPN, Fox, and all the major sports ones are merging.
Isn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Isn't Paramount Plus part of HBO now?
No, that's CBS.
Absolutely.
I don't fucking know anymore.
Yeah, I saw that there's going to be a big one with ESPN and
Yeah, all the sports.
all the sports.
The sport,
That's what
yeah.
I'm here for. I'm like, thank you. Okay, that's nice of you. And you'll be
We'll
able
see
to.
what they do.
I hope that it just fills in where ESPN, like if you have ESPN, because you don't need ESPN Plus anymore. Like I don't want to pay for ESPN Plus and that because it's
Pay
gonna
for
have all the
ESPN+.
ESPN Plus stuff on there. I own
They have to give away ESPN Plus. They fucking lump it in with
Hulu.
other.
Yeah, this
Like-
on the Disney bundle. That's how only reason I have it.
Same, yeah. I got Hulu and ESPN Plus with it.
Yep. And it's like no extra money more.
See, and I have the same Disney Plus from when if you pre-ordered it before it came out, you got the like real cheap price.
Yeah, they upped
So-
the price.
Yeah, and my price has gone up obviously because I think it was just for the first year, but I don't get the Hulu and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's shitty.
Yeah. So did you guys see with Geno Smith how Geno Smith is making out?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Seahawks let him stay on the roster past Friday, so he got to collect
12
$12.7
million.
million.
Good for them. Good for him.
If he's on the roster on March 18th, he collects another 9.6 million.
Not bad.
Yeah, not a bad gig. So the
He's
question
good, and
is,
he is overperformed.
yeah, is he their quarterback going into this season?
For sure. I don't know who they're gonna find that is gonna be any better.
Yeah, I think their draft is like they might still
And-
draft a guy, but it's not going to be a guy you could throw in.
Yeah.
there.
Unless they make an aggressive move in the draft to
I
go
mean,
get a guy,
I
which
thought
wouldn't be the worst idea,
I
but
think that the thought is that if Bo Nix is still on the board when they pick at fit, because they pick I think 15. And this
Yeah,
draft,
he's a project.
yeah, if Bo Nix is there, I think they take him in the first round. But there's also talks that the Steelers might be trying to move up from that.
oh,
20.
I thought the Steelers were perfectly happy fighting over Mason Rudolph and
That
Kenny
feels
Pickett.
like bullshit to me because that
They've
sounds
also-
like the dumbest goddamn thing I've ever heard.
The Steelers have also been on record saying they're going to bring in competition for Kenny Pickett. So
They need to. They need to bring in something because
This
God,
sounds like typical like pre-draft lies to me.
yeah,
right?
No, we're not targeting a quarterback.
We're not. Yeah, quarterback. What?
I
Who?
think both
What?
of
We
I
got.
think both the
We already have two.
Steelers and Seahawks are both really intriguing spots for maybe like a Justin Fields.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Both have good O
Yeah.
line. both have not good lines, but they both have weapons there to throw to good receiving cores.
Do something besides Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph. Like that, your ceiling, you hit your ceiling with that. It's a 7 seed and one and done in the playoffs. Like, come
The
on.
best possible spot for Justin Fields is wherever he can go with a good offensive line.
Yeah, I
For
mean,
sure.
Like that's first and like, can we see a season of him where he's not running for his life?
I think Seattle is the best
Where he's
location.
running because he wants to.
Justin Fields in Seattle is almost a match made in heaven. They have a good O line, 3 good receivers, good running backs. If he couldn't succeed,
Yeah.
then he's a bust.
What
They
or go to
are the Seahawks like, is Geno a free agent? Is he restricted?
He's under contract with them, but they have a couple different outs on him. March 18th is their last out. They have to get him off the roster before then, or he collects 9.6, but I don't know what the deal is after that. I think it was a 3-year pact that he made with them
And
last
that'll count against that. Will that count against next year's money or last year's?
The money that I mentioned will be this year's cap. And I think it's the last of the guaranteeds.
And you said it was 9 million and how much?
So right now he's already collected 12.7 million. He just got that, and it'll be 9.6 by March 18th.
Fuck.
So I mean that
I think you're kind of committed if you're gonna let him collect that money.
yeah,
Oh,
I mean
yeah.
unless you can my thought is maybe you can move him by March 18th. I think that he would be a trade candidate more than a cut candidate. Maybe
Yeah, man, I don't know what kind of return you're gonna get on him.
that's why I'm saying maybe he's a trade candidate for a Justin Fields for a situation where he goes to the Bears and he's like a veteran for a Caleb Williams.
He'd be a good bridge.
He would, but I feel like that with the March 18th date, that might be a little early on that, unless there's been. I just feel like
That's the other part of it too, is I don't think you're gonna see much, if any, quarterback movement before the draft.
I think Russell Wilson will be the first one before the draft that happens. I think that by that I mean by him getting cut.
Oh,
He'll
yeah,
get
cuts and whatnot, yeah, but like trades and movement, like actual movement.
I
I
think
don't know if you're gonna see any of that.
a team like the Raiders could if they were to make a move, but that's just because they're in no man's land in the draft. I don't think they have the ammo to move up high enough.
Maybe.
That's the only
There's a lot of quarterbacks this year.
there's a good
And the class next year is not good.
a lot of quarterbacks and all of the people at the top of the draft, besides, I guess, the Cardinals, could use a new quarterback.
yeah.
The Cardinals and Chargers, the first 3 teams. Sorry, the first 3 teams.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Do you think it goes quarterback, quarterback, quarterback? Do you think
Yeah.
it goes quarterback, quarterback, receiver?
Nope.
Oh man.
I think it almost undoubtedly goes quarterback, quarterback, quarterback.
Because it's Chicago, Washington, New England.
Yeah.
And then
then-
we go and watch
And then who's it for? Is it the Chargers?
Cardinals.
Cardinals. We're gonna
Cardinals.
watch Marvin
That's-
Harrison go get destroyed in Arizona.
Yeah, that's exactly where he's
Hey,
going.
he can catch a jump. He can. It's so funny that because Kyler Murray's so short, but his balls are all thrown so high.
Man, my word.
And I hope that they do take him, because I certainly don't want to see him slip to 5 and
No,
be
I
taken by
don't,
the.
I don't want any of these dudes going to the fucking Chargers.
Do not go to the Chargers, please.
Drake May, I'd like him to go to the Chargers.
Yeah, but not Marvin Harrison. And if Marvin Harrison is hanging around at 5, how do you not take him?
Yeah, I mean, especially with after the bust they had last year with Quentin Johnson.
Oh, you're gonna hear a lot of
Hmm.
the thing you're gonna hear after the combine is Rome Odunze is the number 1. And it's fucking bullshit.
There's a few good receivers in this draft too. I mean,
No, I know, but
yeah, I mean, because you got what is it, Nabers from LSU is
Malik Neighbors, yeah.
Nabers. He's probably your most explosive wide receiver in this draft. He'd be a dream here in Kansas City. Neighbors would be the best pure fit for what we know.
Those top 3 receivers aren't gonna make it down there.
No. I mean, there's no chance. That's a pure fucking dream, Sneaky.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way.
Happening.
No, I'm at this point. I'm really hoping for a Troy Franklin or McConkey.
McConkey, I think, could be a second or third rounder from some of the shit I've seen.
He might be. I just don't know if he'll fall far enough.
A lot of the guys like that we were sending back and forth, their mocks are so fucking obviously it's a 30-second pick. Those are always up in the air picks. But a lot of those are guys that you see some mocks give them in the first, some go to third. I like it was a Tay Walker from UNC. Or Tez Walker. Tez Walker. He was nice. I liked him. His tape was good.
Homeboy down there in Texas, Adonai Mitchell. He's not bad.
Yeah.
I just made the Troy Franklin tape is. Whew.
I like the kid from Michigan, but I don't think I like him as a first rounder either.
Man, I don't trust
third.
I don't trust that Michigan team. Like there's gonna be so many dudes from that team going in the first round, and
yeah,
I get it. They're national champions. That didn't make them all good.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I think the best mock I saw all day, as I read a few of them today, had fucking Denver taking JJ McCarthy, and I was like, I love it. Take it in the first round, please. Waste
yes, please.
That is the dream. The dream is him either there or fucking Vegas.
Oh yeah, Denver drafting another mid quarterback.
Oh my god, that just felt like seeing Paxton Lynch on there.
All over again, baby. Paxton Lynch and Drew Lock. Oh, just on repeat.
At least Drew Lock was a second rounder, but that was still felt like a whiff. Just throwing around second round picks.
I know, you know what I mean?
But I'm straight fucking trash. Even though that dude beat the Eagles.
He did. He did beat the Eagles this year, but so did everybody. Okay?
Ooh, big
except for the Super Bowl winners. We just couldn't beat the Eagles this year, guys. But we did win one of those. Oh, it's gone.
Man. Yeah. So did you see that Nelson Aguilar is gonna stay in Baltimore for another year?
So that's good for him.
Good.
So the good news is that we won't be signing another drop prone receiver. Or that drop prone receiver. The only receiver out of the top 4 targets from their team last year that is not under contract right now is Odell Beckham. So I hope we don't sign him.
I don't think we will.
No.
You didn't
you ever see that live news interview from Philly where the guy saved a baby on fire?
No.
This dude, he's on to this is a legit interview, and he's like somebody he caught a baby that was thrown out of a burning building, and they're interviewing the dude, and like, they threw that and I caught that dude, unlike Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah, Aguilar. Okay, I have seen that one.
Okay. It's true though. It's true. Nelson Aguilar hurt a lot of feelings in Philadelphia. Because we got him after we let Macklin walk, I want to say. When Macklin came to Kansas City.
Oh, wow.
And that dude was fucking disappointing.
Macklin?
No.
Oh.
No, Nelson Aguilar. We really liked Macklin in Philly. We were big fans of him and Deshaun Jackson.
Him and Deshaun were good.
And I can't blame either of them for leaving the team. I mean, we had Chip Kelly at the time. And that dude was an asshole who only liked Riley Cooper.
I would leave the key.
They were very like-minded.
Oh gosh. Makes sense why he was coaching in
Oregon. Got a contract extension after he went and saw Kenny Chesney.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So then the last piece of big news that was on here that I saw was the Packers are expected to release Bakhtiari.
Mm-hmm.
So my question to everybody is,
how
much will the Jets pay him to play?
He's definitely a Jet. He's 100% a Jet.
Oh yeah, I mean,
yeah,
played in 14 games in 3 years, but the Jets are gonna fucking pay him because Aaron Rodgers said so.
Yeah, that's Aaron Rodgers' boy.
They're gonna not draft a left tackle because Bakhtiari's coming.
That's right. That's their answer right there.
Oh, they're gonna.
Injury prone left tackle to protect their injured quarterback. Why not?
Hey, speaking of old left tackles, though, so Donovan Smith was a 1-year rental.
Yep. We gotta do
Uh,
something.
There's going to be a free agent on the market who wants a Super Bowl real bad.
I think so. Who's that?
Tyron Smith.
That would be
Hey,
nice.
yes.
That he's also very injury prone though. I mean, his back
He
injury.
is. He is. We've
Yeah.
got backup there though.
But the problem is he can't practice. You can't practice, and you also. I don't love it. I watch him get like he plays well, but there's also things that he can't physically do anymore.
Yeah.
Well, and you see it on tape, and that's why Dallas's run offense has gotten worse every year the last 3 years. I think is also because he's not as explosive as he once was. Hell of a player in his prime, and I think that it just sucked. I mean, I get the excitement, but I just think that
I just think. I just think we can get him on a super cheap deal.
yeah, I think so. But I think that back is problematic. But we've also seen Jason Peters still plays football, so
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about here. Shit like that.
I mean, and we showed that we don't need Donovan Smith wasn't great this year.
Why not
He
just-
was serviceable.
Then why not just fucking go with Wanya Morris?
I don't know how ready or not ready Wanye is.
He was on the grading scales. He was not rated that much worse than fucking Donovan Smith. He was actually at times he was
Yeah.
he was an upgrade over
But
Donovan.
I also saw him getting destroyed too at times.
Yeah, and then I saw in the Super Bowl that Donovan Smith couldn't block a fucking blade of grass.
Couldn't block a blade of grass. Okay.
I couldn't think of anything else.
Yeah.
He was terrible.
I don't have to.
Donovan Smith was great. Every time we ran the ball to that side, I knew what the outcome would be. Of course, he was getting destroyed by Joey Bosa or Nick Bosa. So, in his defense,
Bosa's on the other side.
Bosa lined up a lot on that side on rundowns and fucking destroyed him.
Yeah. Well, he also lined up on the other side on a lot of option downs and kept running after our running back long after Mahomes was running the other way with the ball.
Taylor was brought in to deal with Bosa's. He's good at dealing with people with the last name of Bosa.
He's good, yeah. When Juwan Taylor's not committing penalties, he's doing great.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
Man, Bosa bites on that fucking.
But on the option every time.
Option every time.
Now we didn't run that fucking
He's
thing.
attacking the running back.
I guess we were waiting for this game for this time of year, like in these situations to do an option run with Mahomes because we pulled that shit out of our bag like 3 different times.
I mean, I think those were just Mahomes saying, "I'm fucking doing this."
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
The Super Bowl is the first time that Andy's had a called run for Patrick Mahomes, I think, in 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's insane. I mean, I think all of them were. He had checks, but he was going.
I also think.
Oh, dude, Patrick complains all the time how he doesn't get running plays anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
he was never checking out of those.
Well, now with Bosa crashing like that, he's like, oh, well, Bosa just did all the work for me.
Right.
You took yourself out of the play. Thank you. Thank you.
Also, do you
Think
guys
about how much Patrick Mahomes has ruined that one family's life?
God, you gotta love it. It couldn't happen to
just that family.
It couldn't happen to a better family.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's a serious question though that I just thought of for you guys. Do you think with the performance in the championship game and the Super Bowl that they could find a way to save some money by moving on from Thuney?
Well, yeah. How long does Thuney have left on his contract?
This will be his. Is he a free agent or is this the last year?
No, he's not. He's not a free agent this year.
So, is there guarantees in that contract right now? Because that could be one.
I'm pretty sure Tooney and I might be wrong, but I think our entire interior comes up at the same time.
I do too. I think that after those 2 games,
Reed and Trey were the same draft, weren't they?
Thuney's gone for sure. We keep the other 2.
Yeah, because we're gonna. I know for sure we've got Bolton's contract coming next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say cut
Reader in the same draft, and so is Trey for sure.
unless we get a really good left tackle. Definitely don't cut Tooney this year because
We've kind of proved we can survive
That's what I'm saying.
as long as the interior is those three
yeah.
guys.
So let's keep
But I
them
think
together
we
for at
saw-
least one more year.
I think we saw Allegretti played really well.
He did.
He
With
did. He did
That's the only
good.
reason I'm bringing this up because of
He
how
did
well
good.
Allegretti played.
He did. So,
With-
I mean, he
He did good. He tore his rotator cuff or the
Yeah, his
yeah he
UCL.
tore his UCL. So
and played the
Ouch.
whole game with
second quarter.
played the rest of the game without it.
But you know
My
what?
God, man.
These are the other topics we can talk about next week as well.
We definitely will.
Get it for this week.
We'll keep talking about them.
Yeah,
I'll bring up the Super Bowl every week, guys. I'll bring up back-to-back champs every single week.
But as always, everybody, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Come back and watch it again next week.
Watch the back-to-backs.
We'll talk about the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. Topics that you haven't heard before.
That's right.
It's completely new information.